Hi everyone, I am Franklin Martinez. I am the sales and medical representative of Torontana and Bynchy. And you already know we are doing interview to specialists in sport, nutrition, doctors, chiropractic, physiotherapists, and soccer players, everything around health and nutrition. So right now we have the pleasure and we are proud to have Nick. Yes, we are going to talk about today about chiropractic and strength training. Yes, that's our topic.
Yes.
So I want to give it the time to Nick Longo to talk about when did you start with before you get chiropractic? Yes. So how you start? Which sport you start? Where did you born? People asking a lot. Yeah. So can you tell me what is the person you are interviewing?
Sure.
So can you explain a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm Yeah, exactly. I'm Dr. Nick Longo. I'm the owner and the chiropractor at Podium Chiropractic and Rehab. So I was born and raised here in London, Ontario. Grew up in the area, played a bunch of different sports growing up. I played a lot of hockey, a lot of football.
That was your first sport, yes? Hockey?
Yeah, first sport would be hockey, and then in high school I transitioned a bit more into football. So actually what happened in grade 9, in Canada, grade 9 is the first year of high school. Yeah. So that's where you try out for a lot of the sports. I actually tried out for football and didn't make it that one year. I got cut from the team. Yeah. So what I started to do was I started to go to the gym to get a bit stronger so I could make the team the next year. Okay. And I ended up getting a lot stronger than a lot of the players who were already playing there. So by grade 10, I made the team and I was a lot stronger than a lot of the people there just because I was in the gym and learning about strength training and doing a lot of that stuff. So played football throughout high school, did a lot of weightlifting as well. And then I went to University of Waterloo. I did my Bachelor's of Science in Kinesiology. Also did a minor in human nutrition, actually, so it kind of brings it into here.
He knows a lot, guys. Believe me, he knows a lot.
So then I went there. I played football for a little bit there. I just found that it was a bit too much work playing varsity football with studying and trying to balance social life and everything. So I only played a couple years at Waterloo, and then I quit just to focus on school. But I feel like I was just kind of lacking the competitive nature that football and other sports kind of offered. So I got a bit more into the weightlifting, had some friends that were competing in powerlifting competitions. Yes. So that's the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. You get 3 attempts at each, and then you add up the totals, and that's your score. So I started to compete in those, and I realized that I was pretty good at certain movements like the deadlift. I think my first competition, I hit a national record of 617 pounds, and that was the first meet I ever did.
Yes, which year? What happened?
That would have been 2016, I think, was my first competition.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then because of that, I just got more and more into it.
As soon as you got it, when you won the first competition, it's what part of your goal in life. Like, I have been working for a long time. I got it what I want.
Yeah, at that point, it wasn't even that serious. It was more of just like a fun thing at the beginning. It was just something to compete towards and something to kind of have a goal towards that I could work towards. So it wasn't that serious to begin with, but when I noticed that I was pretty strong in certain movements, I started to focus on it more, and that became kind of my big focus. So after football, I was focusing a lot more on powerlifting. I was in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, and my whole life was kind of revolving around powerlifting. I started competing at the provincial level and then the regional level, then I went to nationals. My first national meet, I ended up coming in 3rd place.
Where was?
That would be in Calgary, Alberta. That was 2018.
Okay. The other side of we are right now. We are in London, Ontario.
Yes.
So we're talking about the other side of
Yes. Yeah, very far away. About a 4 or 5 hour plane ride. And then I started to compete at more bigger meets. I did nationals a couple times, and then I ended up going to the Commonwealth Games in 2019, and I came 2nd place in that, which was awesome.
You represent Ontario or just
when I went to Commonwealth, I was representing Canada, so I was part of Team Canada. Yeah, I was part of Team Canada. I was competing against countries all over the world: Sri Lanka, India.
The Commonwealth countries.
Yeah, exactly. United Kingdom, Ireland, all those areas.
New Zealand.
Yeah, and then I came 2nd in that, and that was awesome. And I just kept building around that.
How did you feel like when you got the 2nd place?
It was good. It wasn't first, but it was second, which is okay. You always want to get first, right?
Yeah.
And then I kept competing, did a couple more nationals, and then over COVID, I was in school in the States actually. So we were able to compete where people in Canada weren't. Mm-hmm. So I was able to go to the Pan American Championships, which is
Where was the Pan American?
That was in Florida in 2021.
Oh my God.
And I ended up winning that one, so I won gold in that. And that was a big achievement of mine. That was kind of like the goal, was to be a gold medalist at like a world level competition where there's countries from all over the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Pan American is more like American countries.
Yeah, Pan American is all of North America, South America, and then all the South American countries.
And the islands too.
All the Caribbean islands as well. Yeah. So I won that one. So that was kind of the powerlifting career that kind of brought me into more strength training, and also chiropractic, because growing up playing football, obviously very hard contact sport.
Yes.
You get a lot of injuries. I had a lot of neck injuries and concussion symptoms before. So I had to go see my chiropractor regularly just to kind of get adjusted.
So just to make sure what kind of football we are talking about, because
what's that?
We have a lot of followers for South America.
Yes, American football.
Yeah. We have to make sure.
Yes. So a lot of injuries there, and I would go see my chiropractor, and he would help me quite a lot. So then throughout that journey from transitioning from football to powerlifting, I kind of decided that I wanted to be a chiropractor.
Yeah.
So I was already taking the kinesiology background, so I already knew everything about the human anatomy and the biology and all that stuff.
Well, that's easy like for you.
Yeah, so it was a good transition to kind of go into chiropractic. And then, I ended up going to the States. So I went to upstate New York, a school called New York Chiropractic. They recently just renamed it to Northeast College of Health Sciences. And that program is another 4 years after the bachelor's in University of Waterloo. So it was 8 years total of school. And that's where I learned, obviously, all the chiropractic stuff, learning to kind of integrate both some of the chiropractic adjustments, some of the massage soft tissue techniques, and then also incorporating some of the rehab and the strength and conditioning that I've learned throughout my time as a powerlifter, and just trying to combine them all. And that's kind of what brought me to chiropractic. And then once I graduated in 2021, I came here, opened up my own practice. So this space was just a complete empty space. We renovated it all. We have the big rehab room here, and then we have a couple of treatment rooms that we do some manual stuff with. And then I get all my athletes to come in here, and we'll do some different techniques to help with sports injuries and help to rehabilitate some of their injuries as well.
That's where we want to go and talk about the next topic, about the chiropractic plus strength training. Yes, that's going to be the next topic. We continue after the break. Guys, we are back to talk about when you start making the strategy between chiropractic and strength training.
Okay.
How, from where came the idea? What's part of the chiropractic stuff?
Yeah. So with chiropractic, you're obviously treating a wide variety of people. A lot of people that I see are going to be more athletes, so they're a little bit more active. They are already strength training, or they're training for a specific sport. And where I kind of combine the two is with the rehab, and then also with the preventative, right? So when somebody gets an injury in sports, you can't just rub it out, make it feel good. You have to get them back into the groove. You have to keep them mobile. You have to strengthen their muscles again to get them back to a return to sport condition, right? So that's
because a player, they need to be ready all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's no time to cry. You get injured. So next time you have to go to the chiropractic, physiotherapy, everything, in order to recover and as soon as I can. Yes.
And a lot of some people will recommend just totally resting some things, and that may be the case for some of the general population. But with more athletes, they have to be in condition all the time, right? So if they get an injury to their knee, they can't just completely take rest. They have to keep the knee strong. They have to keep the muscles around the area strong as well. So that's where the strength training comes in, and the rehab, right? A lot of the principles of both rehab and strength training are the same. In strength training, there's usually an introduction phase where the weights are a little bit lighter, the exercises are a bit easier. And that's kind of the same thing we do for rehab. We kind of start them with more baseline level exercises.
Do you have any any example or any experience for people that are not in sports?
Okay.
Because I can see you have to count the customer, to count the patients.
Yeah.
One of they go to sport,
Yeah.
and they're the regular ones. Like
Yeah,
us.
for sure. Absolutely. But even a general population person, you're still doing things that would be considered athletic throughout the day. If you're walking, that's an athletic thing, right?
Okay.
So if your goal is to let's say pick up your kid off the ground, if you have children, you have to be able to be strong enough to pick up the kid,
Believe
right?
me.
So in that sense, you're not an athlete, but you have to have the strength and the conditioning in order to pick up your child and do the activities that you want to do. So that's where it kind of comes in with the Gen Pop, and a lot of things that people don't even think about, even carrying grocery bags into the house, right?
Yeah.
You have to be strong enough to do that, and if you have some sort of injury that's limiting that ability, that can affect your daily life, right? More than you think so.
Yeah. So for something simple, you can measure how you can make the plan.
Exactly.
Yes?
Yeah.
The chiropractic and the strength training.
For sure.
When you talk about sports, what can the players, the more often they came to you?
Like what kind of sports you mean?
Yeah.
So because I have the powerlifting background, I do treat a lot of powerlifters. I have a lot of knowledge in the different techniques and different cues and ways to tweak things to kind of work around injuries. So that's a big part of my practice as well. I also treat a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I treat a lot of them. So
the Brazilian one is the one like a dancing, and the second one is fighting.
Yeah, it's more the fighting.
They don't fight actually.
It's more wrestling.
Yeah.
More wrestling. So I treat a lot of them. Again, they're high-level athletes, and they're always put in these vulnerable positions where things can go wrong, and they can tweak things and sprain things. So I treat a lot of those athletes as well.
Okay, that's great. Do you have like what is the sport in Canada? The very famous
hockey.
Hockey. Do you have a lot of hockey players?
I have not treated a lot of hockey players. A couple like high school level athletes, but I haven't treated any high level hockey players. No, I have not. No.
Probably you're gonna get soon after the interview.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah, perfect.
So do you have any? Because you are sport guys. What kind of sport you find or you think is the player they get more with issues, muscle issues?
Well, definitely the jiu-jitsu, because you're pulling on necks, you're pulling on wrists, you're getting put in a lot of different positions that are very vulnerable. But a lot of contact sports, of course, so a lot of football players, hockey players, and then
it's more like
more like the contact sports, right?
Okay. So the next step of our interview, we are going to talk about how work the chiropractic and strength training with nutrition. It's part of actually the plan. Yes.
Okay.
So see you in the next after the break.